Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett. It's a new week of comics, and in my hands is one of those releases, the hotly anticipated X-Men Fantastic Four #1, bringing together the two teams that has been hinted at for quite some time. We knew this was coming. We knew this was a clash that was on the docket from when the X-Men bumped into the Fantastic Four way back when, not even that way back when, a couple months ago in New York City. So this is written by Chip Zdarsky. Terry Dodson's the penciler, Rachel Dodson's the inker, Dexter Vines and Karl Story the ink. Assistants, Laura Martin is the color art, and Joe Caramagna is the letterer. Alright, so status quo now. For those who don't know, the X-Men have declared independence on Krakoa. They are a nation-state recognized by the United Nations, 100 other nations. They have declared diplomatic immunity for all mutants. They regularly ignore other nations' sovereignty and just travel all around. And they have now taken more of Magneto's stance that they are the future of mankind, and that they need to guide. They need to guide the world, is what it comes down to. It's not a take that I've been appreciating. I actually think the X-Men are now the villains that they once fought against. I think there's a nationalist streak to them, and generally just not a fan of the direction. I just don't think it quite recognizes where it's going or has gone, or maybe it has, and we're going to see some reckoning down the line. I don't know. We'll see. But in this comic is interesting is because everyone's kind of a dick in it. There's no one right. There's no one wrong. Or sorry, I should really say everyone is wrong. No one is right. Even Franklin is wrong. Like it's an interesting comic where I just don't like anyone. The X-Men have gone to New York. They feel like Franklin needs to come to Krakoa. Their logic is that he's a mutant. He needs to be around his own people. He's also having issues with his powers where he is... it's not replenishing, so he kind of has a finite amount of power. We know that's not necessarily true in that we've seen various versions of him in the future. So we know something will fix itself at some point. So they feel like he needs to come to Krakoa to figure that out. They're also worried that this might be a thing with mutants as a whole. His father, on the other hand, wants to find a solution for him, but also is kind of scared shitless as his son that he literally can create universes. So it's really interesting is Charles puts together a team, and part of the team's like Kitty, who has history with Franklin, and they go to try to recruit Franklin and bring him in, talking to his parents. His parents obviously don't want that to happen, and a clash happens. What a shock that clash happens. It's about the most tropey of tropes that you've ever seen. And what's interesting is I think a lot of the statements that are made, especially by Charles and Eric, back up my feeling is that the X-Men are just no longer good guys. You can't ascribe them that role anymore. And I honestly think that they are nationalists in like every sense of the word, and take on properties of other certain nationalists that are in the news lately, and it's not good. These aren't the X-Men I want to root for in an age where you've got so many different groups being oppressed. This seems like a very wrong take to take them when you could easily go other routes and be a bit more uplifting. So as a whole, like as I said, it's just that the comic just doesn't have anyone that's good. Like, I mean, I'll just straight up show. I mean, there's gonna be a spoiler, but I don't really care because it just backs up my point. So let's see here. In their confrontation with the Fantastic Four, actual statement is in their argument with Reed. Reed says, "You're acting like you're above humanity, buying us off with gifts of medicine." Eric's response is, "We are above them and above you." And then Professor X says, "Eric is being blunt, but we are the next step in evolution, and we're finally embracing it." We have to, or we can't control how others feel, but we need to do what's right for us and the world which we still protect. But our main priority of protection is all of mutant kind, including your gifted son. But yeah, I mean, right there you get Professor X just agreeing with Eric that they are above humanity and even the Fantastic Four, which is a very interesting statement. So yeah, like it just no one comes off good. Reed is being a massive douche like he usually is. The X-Men come off very aggressive. About the only person that seems to be decent is Kitty. What a shock that Kitty seems to be the voice of reason in a comic. But just overall, like it's when I came out of there, just like I want to see where it's going because I think there's ramifications that are going to be pretty big in both properties. But I'm not rooting for anyone. Like I kind of want to see them all fail, and waiting for Franklin to like remake the universe again, and we can just forget bad directions that have been gone in a while. But yeah, like to me, there's someone breaks out as like, you know, your professor, you seem to be having a timetable on this. Something's really fishy, and I think the most obvious answer is that Franklin is the one that could undo what Moira, Eric, and Charles have been doing. Since he can warp reality and make new universes, he's the one that could really screw with Moira's powers more than anyone. Plus, he's a massive, powerful mutant that you'd want to use as a tool on your side. So there's just a lot of bad in this. Yeah, like the story's okay. The story's fine. Like the story's very tropey and all that. It's just I just don't think anyone comes off well. The other is the art. Like I generally love Terry Dodson's work and Rachel Dodson's work. This, however, just feels very off. I want to find some good examples of it, but like the details just don't seem good at times. So like this is kind of an example of it. And I know Dodson's have some habit of dropping detail at some point, but that's a lot of detail dropped. And you can see it again, like here. And just generally, like Reed doesn't quite look like Reed, and there's just weird drops of detail every so often, and backgrounds, and it's not their strongest work. Like this is another thing. The reactions in the back of the panel over there when they're on the stairs, I think just doesn't look great. For a comic that is so high profile, the result is very meh for me. Forget the whole like I just don't agree with the direction that the X-Men are taking in general. It just relies on things that we've seen a million times. I think it's very predictable as to where it went. The art is so-so. It's a very blah comic. So for something that's been hyped, I think a lot of us have been looking forward to, and has just been like foreshadowed for so long, the end result is kind of disappointing. It is what it is. I'm sure I'm just going to get eviscerated online for this opinion, but whatever. You can go get in comic shops if you want it. It's out this week. You can find your local comic shop in a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code, tell if a shop's near you. If you don't have a shop near you, we've got affiliate links for you. You can purchase through that. By doing that, you help support our site since they're affiliate links, but really you should go support your comic shop. And speaking of support, I want to thank Marvel for hooking us up with a review copy. We appreciate it, and thank you for watching. Now, if you're into Marvel, if you're into comics, X-Men, Fantastic Four, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy. Until next time, keep reading those comics and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.